Welcome to TacosandGeeks.com. Justin here, and today we're back with more video game reviews. Today we are going to be reviewing Police Simulator Patrol Officers. We're going to talk a little bit about the story, but there really isn't much to the story because you are just basically doing missions, but this is an overview of the synopsis. Welcome to Brighton. Join the police force of this fictitious American city and experience the day-to-day life of a police officer, starting with citing violations and giving out parking tickets, then work your way towards shouldering more responsibilities. Be part of the community of Brighton. Get to know your neighborhood and handle daily police work to fight crime during your shift. Always be tough but fair, respect the law, and gain more experience to unlock more neighborhoods and districts and duties. And that's pretty much it. You're basically shaping your own story as you interact with people in the city and encountering various scenarios, which I'm going to talk detailed about in gameplay. Now, the game, how does it play? It's a hit or miss because of the bugs, and I'm going to get into the bugs here. There are tons of bugs in this game that some are actually game breaking and makes the game not as enjoyable as it should be. As far as the core concept of this game, of you living the life of a day-to-day police officer with the monotony task of doing citations, talking to people, ticketing them for jaywalking, asking for IDs and things like that. The game works very well with that. The missions of things like it might appear boring to some people, but this actually does give you kind of a real life worldview experience of what it's like to be a day-to-day police officer, especially someone who's a rookie just starting out, where your first task is probably just, hey, go around and do amount of parking tickets, and or this person's drunk, we need you to give them a breathalyzer test. But as the game progresses, you get more responsibilities, such as, like you see here, investigating accidents. Here you have to do things such as call the ambulance for the wounded, talk to the two people or multiple people that are involved with the accidents, and try to figure out what happened, who's to blame, and give out an accidental report once you finish thoroughly your investigation. This is where the gameplay really shines, is when you're doing your solid police work here. And this is where I had the most enjoyable, especially when it comes to the detective work of identifying who this person is, looking through their records. And when you check their IDs, you see things like, okay, this person has an expired license, so you have to give them a ticket for that. Or this person's stumbling, let me give them a breathalyzer test. Or let me frisk them to see if they have drugs on them or any weapons on them. This is where the game actually shines, and where the game works its best, is when you're doing that police work. The problem with the game that happens is, as you progress, and hopefully there will be a patches for this, but as you progress during the game and you get more responsibilities and you move up your ranks, you encounter a lot of bugs. There's going to be graphical bugs that sometimes make the game unplayable, or the dialogue won't pop up from time to time, and or things just crash. Game crashes from time to time. So it's things like that in situations where the gameplay just really just takes a hit. And as far as the sometimes the controls walking around can feel a little bit wonky. Guns, gunplay can feel a bit wonky as well. It's not really much shooting, by the way, obviously, because police officers are not in shootouts every day. So there is things that you do, like reading reports and things like that. And as you progress, you get to open up more of the map. Driving is a hit or miss as well, because of the graphical errors and bugs, which I'll get into when I talk about the graphics. You will get pop-ins a lot when it comes to the driving section. But as far as the gameplay goes, the concept is there and it does work. And when it works, it's a fun game. It really is. I had to give them credit with that. Checking people for breathalyzer tests, checking them for drugs, frisking them, asking questions. The detective work aspect is the best part of this game, and this is where the game really shines. And I think if they make it more heavy on the detective work, and fix a lot of the bugs, fix some of the frame rate issues, you might have a real solid entry here and a real actual experience of what it's like to be a police officer. And one thing I did like is you do get penalized for your mistakes. There was times where I've just frisk, like they say, hey, somebody was jaywalking. I accidentally stopped the wrong person from jaywalking, and you have those C's on the top of the screen. You see SP and CP points. If you make a mistake, your reputation goes down, and then you'll get complaints, people complaining about you, and that could actually get you fired. So I do like some of these aspects that they have. It's just the game, as you can see right there, the game is a buggy mess graphically, gameplay wise. It works. When it works, it's wonderful. When it doesn't, it's frustrating, and it's just like, this needed a little bit more time in the testing department. Now, as far as the graphics go, as I've been alluding throughout most of this review, the graphics, as you can see, look at that tree right there. Look at that. Pops in. Boom. Look at this. Look at this. This is what happens when you're driving. This is what happens. Streets get filled out. Streets don't look the same. Invisible cars pop up as you're driving from time to time. Graphically, it's horrible. It's good on foot, but when you're driving, you get things like this. You get situations like that where the game just constantly has to render pop in as it's going. And I'm starting to see a trend like that. We saw that in Sonic, but it wasn't as bad as this game. And it's really disappointing, and the frame rate will drop from time to time. But as far as my final thoughts, Police Simulator Patrol Officers, I'm going to unfortunately have to give this a skip it. It has so much potential, but there's too many bugs graphically as well. Like, as you saw from those clips, I can't recommend someone buying a game that feels broken and incomplete. The concept is there, though. The concept is there. So if you do want to check it out, I will say skip it. But if you really, really need to check it out, I will say wait for a sale. I will definitely have to say just wait for a sale to come, and you can try it then. But otherwise, just due to the technical aspects, the technical bugs, this still needs to be put in the oven. This still needs more fixing. This still needs a lot more polish, and I hopefully will get it because there is some really good aspects and concepts in here. It's just the execution and maybe budget restraint. I'm not sure if this is a big studio, small studio, but it needs a little bit more time and a lot more polish. But the concept and core gameplay elements, if it's done polishly correct, you're going to have a great time with this. But due to the bugs that happens graphically, due to the bugs that happens gameplay-wise, I can't recommend this. So this is going to be a skip it for me. This is Justin from otakusgeeks.com. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you're watching on this YouTube. And hit that notification bell. Catch you on the next one. Later today.